Good evening, everyone. My name is Eric. I've been in the field of education in Taiwan for approximately 13 years. I'm also fortunate enough to teach and lecture at the various public and private universities in Taiwan, as well as consulting firms such as VoiceTube. So tonight, I'd like to thank VoiceTube for inviting me to allow me to introduce a very special and distinguished guest, Mr. Vincent Chao.
Well, Eric, I probably wouldn't say distinguished or even special for that matter, but my name is Vincent Chao. I work for the Democratic Progressive Party here in Taiwan. I was very honored to be Dr. Tsai's translator during her international press conference on January 16th. And I'm also very happy to be here in VoiceTube today to speak and to communicate in English with you.
Our topic tonight, of course, is English learning. But before we begin on this, Vincent, would you mind giving us a brief self-introduction of your educational background, focusing on how you learn English in school?
Well, I'm not really sure you want to learn about my educational background, given that I was a poor student growing up. But I moved to Japan. I was born in Taiwan. I moved to Japan when I was 4 years old. I stayed there for 3 years in Hiroshima. After Hiroshima, I moved to Beijing, China, for 2 years. In both places, I went to international school. And then after that, I moved to Canada, where I stayed for a couple of years for elementary school, for junior high school. And I guess that's the place where my passion for English really developed, because I had the opportunity to buy a lot of English books there, and I've been an avid reader of English novels, everything from Harry Potter to, everything basically. And after that, I moved back to Taiwan for a couple of years. So I learned Chinese back here in Kaohsiung, in Guo and Guosan.
So am I safe to assume that you think reading is one of the best ways to learn a new language?
Well, honestly, I think that reading is part of it, but the other part is also practicing. You know, having the confidence to use your language in your everyday conversation, in your everyday usage, in school, at work. And I think the key to everything is being able to convince yourself that, you know, it's okay. Nobody's going to judge me. It's okay to step out and use this language, even though you may not feel 100% confident in it. But I think that people are willing to see people try, and that once you do try, people do respect you for it, and they will help you on your journey to learn English.
Well, in addition to learning English, I also noticed your Chinese is excellent. I mean, you're basically a native speaker, and I don't detect any accent whatsoever from you. Can you give us your secret?
其实我的中文是一直在持续的在加强中，因为我小时候其实读的书都是以英文为主，所以一直到我2009年回台湾后，我才开始密集的学中文。我其实非常荣幸，就是我回台湾第一份工作有机会担任记者。那你担任记者的同时，你就必须出去采访，去跟人家对谈，去跟人家交朋友。那回去之后还要去写报纸。所以当你要用中文用说、用听、用写、用读的时候，其实你进步就会非常快。那我相信所有语言其实都一样。
So thanks, Vincent, for telling us your secret. But the next question I'm going to ask you is about this internet phenomenon that's going on right now. 中文到底是怎么说啊？是说你的声音让大家的耳朵怀孕了吗？是不是这样子？
Well, we all know the Apple Daily is a newspaper that has a lot of interesting headlines, and I was very fortunate to be one of those headlines on the night of the 16th. To be honest, it was quite a surprise for me to see everything that took place. I had no expectation that it would happen, and I'm very honored and humbled to be the attention of so many people here in Taiwan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, apparently all the netizens and everyone is impressed by your performance. So can you tell us how you prepared for this interpretation?
Well, I'll be honest in saying that I personally didn't think I did such a good job. There was definitely a lot of room for improvement. And again, I'm very thankful for everybody's support. On how I practiced for this speech, to be honest, it wasn't something that was on my mind. Well, I only learned that I would be translating her international press conference 2 days prior to the event. So as you can imagine, that left me very little time for practice. But at the same time, it was a challenge that I was willing to seek to overcome. I think for the practice itself, I didn't get much time because, as I said, there was 100 things going on. We're in the midst of a very heated election, a lot of things to do, and I kind of just went up there, to be honest. Well, I know that there are a lot of professional interpreters here in Taiwan. I've always been impressed at their near instantaneous ability to translate not only the vocabulary from English to Chinese, or Chinese to English for that matter, but also the ability to deliver instantaneous grammatical translations, which I found is always the most difficult part of transitioning between languages.
It's quite amazing because they also have to consider the connotation and denotation of the words. And sometimes there's no exact translation between the language. For maybe literal language, for example, apple, you can always translate that into Mandarin, for example, 苹果. But for more abstract language, I mean, we have to admire the interpreter's ability to transform that abstract concept from one language to the other instantaneously. I mean, the ability to recall information and to piece together information is simply amazing and requires years of training.
Well, absolutely, and I think that's why I have the utmost respect for the professional interpreters in Taiwan and what they do. But also, like you said, the connotation and the denotation. And we all know that sometimes determining the connotation and denotation takes time. And so you have to manage three different aspects as you're trying to strive for a near instantaneous translation.
And you also have to take into account context, so it definitely requires years of experience and training, like I said earlier. But all the netizens and everyone seems to be very impressed by your performance, so there must be some special Vincent ingredient in the interpretation that's driving everyone crazy.
Well, I'll share with you a story that took place after my interpretation was done. I thought I did quite a poor job, and I was, I think, a bit sad and a bit feeling alone after the translation. So I walked off the stage and I bought a Coke and I sat down on my desk. And I was just like, I really could have done a lot better there. And at the same time I was thinking that, my phone kept vibrating. It kept going on and on and on. So I took out my cell phone and I took a look, and 351 friend requests. Okay. And I was quite surprised. And then my coworker came over and said, Vincent, you're an internet phenomenon. I thought it was quite spectacular, to be honest. And I thank everybody for all their support over my interpretation. I truly, truly believe that there are many other more talented and more brilliant interpreters in Taiwan.
But Vincent, you have a very distinctive speaking style. Can you tell us more about this?
Well, I think the speaking style comes a lot from listening to speeches over and over again from American politicians. Because, to be honest, the best public speakers are American politicians. Just for president itself, they have a 2-year campaign period, thousands of speeches, great opportunity to learn. So I learned a lot from listening to orators like President Obama. And you can tell President Obama really has a unique speaking style that places emphasis on specific words, and he's not afraid of pauses. For example, my fellow Americans, pause. So once you get the pauses in there and you put the right emphasis on specific words, it truly does not matter, how good your pronunciation is or how fluid your speech is, but people still pay attention to the places where you want them to pay attention to. Again, I'm not a professional interpreter. I've been very blessed and very honored by this opportunity and the attention that my fellow Taiwanese and netizens have given me over the past few days. And I know that there are many areas where I can do much better, and I thank everybody for the constructive criticism. Thank you.
So once again, thank you, Vincent, and thank you to VoiceTube for having the show. See you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.